I swear, it felt like something straight out of a reality show. 1 minute, she's screaming bloody murder at a man just trying to live his life. Next minute, she's bawling and begging for someone, anyone, to stop what's coming. You ever seen someone flip personalities mid-sentence? That's Karen for you. And this time, she messed with the wrong man. Now, let me back up and tell you how all this started. I live in a quiet cul-de-sac out in Georgia, one of those places where people wave at each other even if they don't know your name, and you can smell somebody's barbecue 3 houses down. We've had our fair share of drama over the years: barking dogs, HOA complaints, Christmas lights that stayed up till March. But nothing compares to what went down with Karen. Karen, well, her real name's Debbie, but everyone calls her Karen because she earned it with honors. She's in her late 50s, walks her poodle like it's royalty, and thinks every rule was personally written by God himself for everyone else, not her. She's the self-appointed enforcer of the HOA even though she ain't got a title. Wears a visor, fake pearls, and carries a clipboard like it's a weapon. You can hear her from a block away, scolding teenagers for riding scooters or telling folks their lawn is a disgrace to the neighborhood. So it didn't surprise me when she started going after Marcus. Marcus moved in 3 months before this all exploded. Tall, calm, drives a clean black Charger, and doesn't say much unless you talk to him first. Some of us thought he was military or law enforcement. He had that composed vibe, you know? My wife brought him cookies once and said he smiled warm, but didn't really invite small talk. Folks respected that. But Karen? Oh, she hated it. She hated that he didn't wave first. Hated that he had tinted windows. Hated that his license plate wasn't local. She claimed he was suspicious. I heard her at the HOA meeting mumbling about keeping the community safe. I knew exactly where it was headed. You could smell the bias like week-old garbage. Then came the day she called the tow truck. Marcus had parked in front of his own house, his own damn house, because the driveway was getting resealed. I saw him early that morning moving tools and waving the contractor over. A few hours later, I step outside and there's Karen, arms crossed, lips pursed, standing next to a tow truck driver looking all proud of herself. Now listen, I'm no lawyer, but I do read the HOA bylaws. Parking on the street is allowed for 48 hours unless it blocks traffic. This wasn't that. But Karen had somehow convinced the driver this was an abandoned vehicle. Said it didn't belong to a resident. Lied straight through her teeth. Marcus came out just as they were hitching the car. He didn't yell. Didn't throw hands. He just walked up slow, calm as you like, and said, "Excuse me, what are you doing to my car?" Karen scoffed and pointed that damn clipboard at him. "This vehicle isn't registered to any resident. It's unauthorized, and it's being removed. You can contact the HOA if you have a problem." Marcus said one sentence that froze everyone. "You're making a big mistake." That's when it got weird. The tow truck guy started looking nervous. Said, "Sir, if this is your car, I'll need to see ID." But before Marcus could respond, bam, twist number 1 enter stage left. My brother-in-law, Kenny, rolls up in his city vehicle. See, Kenny works for the mayor's office. He oversees housing equity and compliance for our district. Basically, when neighborhoods start acting shady, targeting black families, unfair code enforcement, selective citations, he's the guy that shows up with receipts. And he knew Marcus. They worked together on a housing access initiative downtown. Kenny steps out and yells, "Marcus, what's going on?" Karen goes pale. Her eyes do that little twitchy dance like she just realized the house was on fire and she'd left the stove on. Marcus just nods at Kenny and says, "Just a little misunderstanding. Karen here believes I don't live here." Karen, now trying to backpedal like her shoes are on fire, starts sputtering. "2 was just doing my duty. We've had reports. I didn't know he never introduced himself properly." That's when Marcus pulled out his wallet. Showed his ID. Address matched the house. Name, Major Marcus Ellis. Yep, Major. Turns out, Marcus was a decorated Air Force veteran, now working at a federal level on infrastructure resilience. That calmness, that presence, all military discipline. And now he had receipts, an audience, and a witness with political connections. Kenny looked at Karen and said, "Do you realize falsifying a report like this can be considered harassment? Targeting a homeowner based on assumption? That's grounds for a formal complaint under city ordinance." Karen stammered something about not meaning harm, but no one was buying it. The tow truck guy unhooked the charger like it was radioactive and got the hell out of there. But Marcus didn't press charges. Not yet. He just walked back inside and closed the door. But you know that wasn't the end. Over the next week, word spread. Kenny filed a formal complaint with the city. Marcus contacted the HOA board with documented evidence of racial targeting. And then this is where it gets spicy. Marcus pulled out the big guns. Turns out, Marcus wasn't just a homeowner. He was also a compliance officer for federal housing grants. Our HOA had accepted funds 5 years ago to build community green spaces. Guess who never filed the proper reports? Guess who misused the funds on security upgrades and golf carts? You guessed it, Karen's pet projects. Marcus requested a federal audit. The audit found irregularities, embezzlement, fake invoices. And the worst part? Karen had been signing checks illegally. She wasn't even on the financial committee. She just bossed around the treasurer, a sweet old guy named Howard who thought she was authorized. Once that news hit, Marcus sent an invite to every homeowner for a community transparency night. He didn't say what it was, just that it'd be worth showing up. He rented a projector, set up speakers, even brought cookies, same kind my wife gave him when he moved in. The whole block showed up. Lawn chairs, soda cans, whispering neighbors. Karen tried to act normal, but she was sweating like a sinner in church. Then Marcus hit play on the presentation. It started with body cam footage from the tow attempt. Yep, Kenny had his on. Then emails, check scans, bylaw highlights, and then a financial breakdown showing exactly where the HOA money had gone. There was a moment dead silence when the screen showed Karen's signature next to a $9,800 check labeled Neighborhood Surveillance Development. The item? A drone she bought for security, but her son had been using it for YouTube unboxings. That's when she cracked. I was trying to help. I just wanted the community safe. Someone shouted, by towing veterans? Lying on reports. Karen started crying. Big, ugly sobs. Tried to get up and leave, but Marcus calmly said, you'll want to stay for the vote. See, Marcus had petitioned the board for a recall election. Enough signatures came in to make it happen that night. The vote. Unanimous. Karen was removed from all HOA involvement. The board was restructured, this time with open books, term limits, and community oversight. And Marcus? He got asked to chair the Transparency Committee, and he accepted. Within months, the whole neighborhood felt lighter. People waved again. Kids played without fear of being yelled at. And homeowners started getting refunds from all those bogus fines Karen had filed. Even Howard, bless him, got cleared. Turns out, he'd been bullied into signing whatever she pushed in front of him. As for Karen, last I heard she moved to a quiet community 2 counties over. Folks say she still carries a clipboard. But around here, we don't mention her name unless it's followed by a good laugh. Now let me leave you with this. Power in the wrong hands is a dangerous thing, especially when it's petty, loud, and wrapped in a fake smile. But truth? Truth is louder. And karma? She don't forget. So let me ask you, have you ever seen someone abuse their power and finally get what's coming? Share your story below, and don't forget to subscribe if you believe justice always finds a way.